Hello my dear aspirants, we are again back on your own platform of Biology Degree with a new key concept of graffian follicle. Graffian follicles. Basically when we talk about graffian follicle, it is basically the mature follicle. Fully matured follicle is called a graffian follicle. What happens here? When a female hits the age of puberty, it means approx 12 to 13. It hits the age of puberty. The gonadotropic releasing hormone is being released by the master endocrine gland, which is an hypothalamic hormone. These gonadotropic releasing hormone goes and acts on the pituitary. Basically, I should off the fan. Basically, this gonadotropic releasing hormone acts on the pituitary gland, on basically the anterior portion of pituitary gland, which is the adenohypophysis. When the GnRH acts on the anterior pituitary start releasing gonadotropies, which are basically the FSH and LH. FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone, which is initially released, and as the FSH is released by the anterior pituitary, FSH is itself a follicle stimulating hormone. It means the follicle comes and act on the ovary and start getting the maturation of the follicles one by one. As soon as the follicle is being matured completely, it means it has been formed the graffian follicle. Then again the pituitary releases the luteinizing hormone, which is the second gonadotropin, LH. This luteinizing hormone basically acts on the graffian follicle during ovulation. It means the secondary oocyte, you can see on the diagram, this secondary oocyte present inside the graffian follicle is being released out from this covering, which is called ovulation. The release of a secondary oocyte from the graffian lumen is called ovulation. So luteinizing hormone will basically act during ovulation, and rest of this part, after excluding this secondary oocyte, will form the carpus luteum. Basically carpus luteum, which is the main releasing of progesterone over here. This corpus luteum, after the exclusion of this secondary oocyte from the graffian follicle, this rest of the portion will form the corpus luteum, and corpus luteum will start releasing progesterone, which is called the pregnancy hormone, which is very much important hormone during pregnancy for the maintenance of corpus luteum and preventing the degradation of the endometrium walls, that we can establish the pregnancy successfully. Okay, until and unless there is a formation of placenta, because until and unless there is a formation of placenta, there is no tension after the formation of placenta, because placenta itself will release the progesterone, which will help in the maintenance of the pregnancy. But until and unless there is a formation of placenta, that the progesterone released by this corpus luteum will maintain the ovaries corpus luteum. Okay, so see what happened. When we see on the graffian follicle, which is a fully matured follicle, this is basically in this lecture, we are going through the diagram. Okay, we should understand. You can see from outside there are two layers, theca externa and theca interna, two layers. These are basically the protective layers. And only they will not give the protection, they will also provide estrogen. These both are also a minor source of estrogen. Why I am writing minor source? Because less amount of estrogen. Okay. Now see, these are the protective as well as the minor source of estrogen. After that, here is a basement membrane. You can see the basement membrane. Basically, after the basement membrane, we can say that these theca cells layer, the theca interna and theca externa, are resting on a bed of basement membrane. This is basically the basement membrane. On the bed of this basement membrane, the theca interna is being rested. Now see what happened. Here is the cells called granulosa cells. As these granulosa cells have covered this graffian follicle, or basically we can say the secondary oocyte, and form a covering layer called granulosa cell layer or granulosa layer. After that, there are two layers on outer side of the secondary oocyte. Basically, the first layer near to the secondary oocyte is the zona pellucida, and the cells, you can see here a type of cells which are being surrounded this secondary oocyte. Basically, these are the cell, not a layer, called corona radiata. Corona radiata is not a layer. Basically, these are the cells which is being surrounded out of this secondary oocyte in such a manner that it is just looking like a layer of cells, but this is not a layer. Okay, these are the corona radiata cells which is surrounded the secondary oocyte. Okay, as soon there will be an influence of luteinizing hormone, these secondary oocyte will be bursted out during the LH surge on the 14th day of a menstrual cycle. Okay, as soon these secondary oocyte will burst out from here, I am showing you this secondary oocyte is being burst out from this graffian follicle inside the fallopian tube for reaching the ampulla. This is called ovulation, which will happen on the 14th day of menstrual cycle due to LH surge. Basically, this LH surge is responsible for the removal of secondary oocyte from the graffian follicle into the fallopian tube. LH surge means highly a drastic increase in the concentration of LH in the body of the female on that specific day, which is called the ovulatory day. Okay, so basically this was the structure. I want to aware you from the structure and the layers present outside it. Now see beta, these two theca externa and interna was the minor source of estrogen, but these granulosa cells are the major source of estrogen. These cells are the major source of estrogen. Major source of estrogen. So both are releasing estrogen, but this in the dominating manner and this in a very small amount. Okay, so granulosa cell also provide estrogen, and these cells basically present outside the surrounding secondary oocyte will maintain the fertility of the oocyte until and unless this is not released outside from the graffian follicle, because such problems like hardening of a pellucida layer can affect the fertility of this secondary oocyte. So preventing these type of problems, these surrounding cell will help in maintaining the fertility of this secondary oocyte. And we know that as soon the sperm enters the female reproductive tract, these secondary oocyte completes its meiosis second, which was being arrested at the metaphase second we have seen earlier, and converts into second polar body, and on other hand the fully matured ovum, and this ovum will get fertilized by the sperm and form zygote and further be proceeded. I hope this structure of graffian follicle and what is this actually the graffian follicle, and this graffian follicle is being formed by the influence of which hormones, these all questions are cleared in this lecture. Okay, so note it down first.